Our players get into this. In the top left-hand side, our Blue Terran from Dragon Kaizi Gaming, Oliveira. Bottom right from Basilisk, it's Serral. What's the score at in the ESL finals then? Because I guess that's going to tell us a bit about... maybe it just finished actually. Looks as though the streamers have gone offline. Huh. Maybe it finished up actually. Alright. Either way, like I say, obviously they've reordered things. Or maybe because Hero was in the finals, they already said they were going to reorder it and it's just not been updated on the graphic or anything. Either way, here we are. Dragon Kaizi Gaming with their new jerseys as well, by the way. Looking good on Oliveira there on the left. Rax gas opening, nothing too wild. No proxy to begin the game with. Serral does, had that serious game against Battlebee. I can't quite get out of my head just how good Battlebee was playing in that match and just how much pressure Serral was under. And it's kind of very similar to how I imagine Oliveira is going to approach this. So I do feel as though going into this game, you got to be a little bit worried. If you're Serral, that last time we saw him playing TVZ just a few days ago was not as clean as we maybe would expect from him. Game 2 was fantastic, night and day difference, but Game 1 he was under so much pressure. Just about drew it out in a 20-minute game against Battlebee, someone we just don't expect to bring the fight to Serral. I want to see Oliveira and Serral here. Map 3 and 4 of this Dragon Kaizi vs Basilisk series from the World Team League, Week 3. And Reaper is on the way out, going to rally down to the bottom side. It was nothing, again, funky about this open. It's just a Reaper expansion. Factory will follow up. Nothing too crazy in the early stages. Just very nice, standard, and simple to begin with. Grenade goes down, couple Lings gonna get bounced around. Ling's gonna continue over, and the Reaper has to go running. Screen pops out, Reaper takes a little bit more damage as well. Just gonna see how Command Center is still building up. And a little grenade goes down there to pop the Queen off of the creep spread. Just so you know, third CC already coming up, so Oliveira knows he wants to play just a solid macro game. There's nothing too weird about that part of this, right? It's just going to be standard macro, take 3 spaces, take your kind of eco lead early, and just kind of roll from there and see what you can do. We'll see what Serral does in terms of letting him do that, perhaps. Also wondering what Serral might get up to in terms of, this being a scenario where, what kind of tech does he play? Is he going to play into the faster lair and baneling speed? Is he going to try and get away with fast double Evo chambers because it's greedier from the Terran player too? There are definitely a couple of different options that Serral has open to him in terms of how he approaches this next little portion of the game. Speed is just about to finish here, and our Queen's coming through, the drone setting up. The Queens come over, a couple of Hellions and the Reaper get turned around back up the left-hand side. Reaper drops the grenade down, a couple of Queens getting bopped and pushed back just a little bit. We do see our Stimpack, our Liberator. All of that continued in here on the side of Oliveira, so continues to get that producing. And yeah, Marine's just going to grab an Overlord in the main base. Roach Road's still about halfway done. Drone's still producing. Ovi's on the way up. Roaches have been a go-to for Serral a little bit in this matchup lately, and tell you what, it's obviously on a map like Dragon Scales where you expect the pressure to start coming early from Serral. It is probably absolutely going to be, a good call where he can just deal with the pressure early with the Roaches, slow that down and shut that down, and just more guaranteed get himself in towards that next, longer, later phase of the game. Queens drop down a little bit of creep spread, pushing over to the right-hand side. Hellions and the Reaper go back over to the left. Our Queens get over here. The Hellions get deflected, and just seeing our lair, our Roach roaring. Roaches all producing through hatchery, finishing up on the bottom left corner as well. And just seeing our army of Oliveira wanting to come back down toward the bottom left-hand corner, trying to see what we can do. Gonna put this base on fire. Brings them over. Hellion's taking some damage. Good grenade to keep things back. Against Stimpack is not far from finishing. The extra Marines are all producing. And that is about to be done, like I say, from Serral. So Roach Speed should be on the menu. And with the Evo Chambers, we are right now, I think, expecting just missile upgrades. You know, this does seem like a pretty hefty Roach commitment from Serral. It doesn't seem like a, you know, get a Roach run and then we're just going to mess around with melee upgrades and stuff. So, guessing the Carapace right now doesn't have the gas for it, but once he gets that gas, should be good to go. Well, they're going to knock down these rocks once to immediately just shut down some of the aggressive options that Serral has. Just reduce some of the space to move into these bases and just, you know, give him some extra chance defending. It's only going to benefit the Terran player, those rocks being down, and, you know, it's not going to benefit the Zerg. Obviously, it doesn't stop a run by. You can maybe, if you want to wall that left-hand side, now have a smaller wall to do so with. So that's definitely an option as well. Liberator still firing, and Queens are just not quite able to kill the Lib off, but obviously they do protect and save the Overlord with the transfusion as well. Marine coming in, Overseer taking a few shots of damage. We do have our other Marines of Oliveira moving down the right-hand side. Roaches chase the Marines away. Just going to be seeing our Hive is on the way up as well, so Serral getting that Hive established over here. Oliveira's forces back over to the right and now back over to the left. A little bit of ping-ponging around. Just going to scan for a couple of creep tumor pickups. I mean, keeping a little bit of map control. Against Roaches, you don't really want to ever go fighting head up or heads up or straight up, so it's kind of fine to see him just kind of poking in, getting some creep backing away. Generally, if your opponent's playing on Roaches, then you can more or less just kind of keep on building up yourself. The larger these armies get, the less good Roaches typically tend to be, although this isn't purely Roaches. We're on our way into Banelings and Banelings speed. We're probably going to see +2 Carapace and a melee upgrade starting. You know, we're kind of passing the phase where this is going to be purely about the Roach phase, or just Roaches. I mean, Serral kind of set that... can't talk. Serral set up before that just in case almost, like, you know, a little bit of a what if he gets super aggressive, but now that Oliveira's never really set up to do that, you know, Serral's ready to progress his army as well. He's just going to kind of match Oliveira's pacing of the game, it would seem. That's the apparent plan, at least, from what I can tell. I mean, Viper's on the way out. Adrenal Glands, there's the Carapace melee combo I talked about as well. We also have ourselves... Oh, we grab an Infest. A nice little catch on the right side from Oliveira. Actually have, just in general, Serral, the ability to do... Well, not really maybe the ability, but just doing a bit of everything right now. Ultra Cavern also coming up. He loses 3 Queens in the middle. That's a little bit sloppy. There's obviously a couple caught off creep, but then the other one running in from the left-hand side didn't do anything to help and sort of just gave itself up. So, a little bit of a shame. Extra Banelings across the left side. Ghost, Marines, tanks will continue. Press on forward. Our army of Serral still chilling in the bottom left. Chitinous plating coming up on the Ultra Cavern. And a few more Marines just unload back out of this medevac. And back on over there. Now we do have the command center. Next one setting up too. So still just very macro oriented from Oliveira. Really quite happy to just keep on going with ghosts and CCs and just anything that maybe suggests late game is on the menu right now for our Terran player. Ordering up a bit of everything is... Obviously, this is a map with limited bases. 7 bases each isn't the most. It's not the largest map out there. So, as a Terran player, it's not a bad map to play late game on because you only have to eventually take so many bases to have outmined the Zerg or to, you know, especially if you're trading efficiently, have the resources that you need in this matchup. So, I would generally say that actually this is... yeah, it turned out to be pretty okay. Well, Viper's still hanging around here and we'll just be chilling. Marines having to dodge back. Our Banelings going forward. A couple of Vikings get a Viper, looking for another. So both those Vipers beginning to go down. Roaches and Ravagers continue through. A couple more corrosive biles onto a siege tank. That Queen is also in a little bit of trouble right now, just going to get taken down. And a couple more Vipers still on the way up. Our 2 melee upgrades still on the way up. So we'll just get into all of the tech, but again, he's going to need it because he's fighting against pretty much the Terran who's been allowed to do as they wish. The Terran that's gotten into the Ghosts, gotten into the late game, getting the bases to really stand strong here. The tank shots will nuke down a few Zerglings, and again, the rest of the Roach Ravager of Serral. Back over to the right-hand side. Hydralisk Den is about to finish up. Turret and Sense Tower continue in. We see a few more Banelings morphing as well. Army of Serral still poised a little bit out over on that right-hand side, and a little bit of bio coming through, a little bit of creep spread, getting nuked down also. And Serral was kind of thinking about going in, but kind of is not an easy position to break. Not an easy place to attack into at all. Very choked up, lots of rams. I mean, you can see Serral saying, well, if you're going to focus in the middle, let me take these external bases, like the extremity bases, just to try and take any resources possible away from you. This is always going to come down to a battle of resources available on the map, usually, if it is going to continue super late game. And in that case, you just really want to be able to kind of take as much away from the Terran as possible. So even if it kind of wastes minerals, getting those bases up, taking, you know, the minerals away from Terran mining bases in the future really is very valuable. The planetary got busted down here, a couple of tanks abducted through. Oliveira's got a pretty solid stance through the middle of the map with that tank line, but like I say, Serral is beginning to take advantage of what is a very, hardcore defensive setup and not a lot of movement around, and he's even going to drop up the left-hand side as well to put some pressure on the production lines. There are turrets across the edge of Oliveira's base. Not sure if they will deflect all of those overlords. Things come running forward. Biosonic go down. There is the Nidus setting up as well. We just have a bit of action everywhere. These Lings that are left trailing forward will get a couple more tanks. And picture-in-picture showing the Ling Ultra drop into the main base. Like I say, going after some of that production, getting a Nidus set up, and reinforce or retreat from this position as necessary. The Ultra not being dealt with very quickly at all, and I could have just stood there and swiped down the tank, didn't in the end. The Nidus won't affect too much more. Serral will be seemingly for the moment done with his attack. Resources lost about 5,000 different in favor of Oliveira. That was not really a great one for Serral. Expected more out of it. He's going to try and attack at the front at the same time, trying to maximize the value from that attack. The value being that Oliveira's got a lot of units up in the main base rather than everywhere else at the moment. Base gets cancelled. Serral just happy with that. Backs it up. He's maxed out once again. 93 drones allowing him to just take a good amount of economy and mine out his bases quickly, but that's an issue eventually when you run out of base to mine from. However, it's a good thing in this scenario where you've got, this base, for example, setting up and just mining for a little while. Drones being used to, using a Nidus network to evacuate is also a very cute move. In the top right-hand corner, we do also have a hatchery coming up over there as well, so that's also setting up. Widow mines going off everywhere. Hatchery going down on the left side. Just seeing that better upgrade, +2 missiles and +3 melee. Continuing up as well. Serral continuing to get set. Lings wrap around, couple of Marauders getting picked away at. Liberators will siege up. Lings, Ravagers, Banes, Hydras, Roaches all pushing through here. A couple of Marines going to get chased immediately. Ghosts getting some damage dealt. Liberator gets sieged up. Sporkroll and the Queens taking that Liberator down. So a few of the drones getting picked there, and just seeing our nuke still coming up. Widow mines and tanks still coming up. CC pushed away further off from that top right corner. Again, this is Oliveira's issue, the fact that Serral's just been mining from these bases already. It's undoing a lot of the resource advantage that Oliveira's built up otherwise. Lings is going to take a chance to jump through. Honestly, with the amount of tanks, friendly fire is an issue. And there's a lot of friendly fire going on. Oliveira is just kind of having to eat the cost of that. Which is, it's not cheap. Like I say, he's losing a fair amount with those friendly fire shots onto his bio units and even onto some of the siege tanks at times, just speeding up the speed at which the tanks are dying. Serral is defending the top right very effectively as well, so making sure this base that isn't even meant to be his base is actually just going to mine as long as possible. And again, the longer that's up, the more and more of a threat you have to have going on here as Oliveira, the more you have to be concerned that, oh crap, this really ain't good, man. Like, I am in some serious trouble. Because again, I mean, the trades have been good so far, but eventually you must mine a good amount yourself. And I mean, at some point, Oliveira might want to just give up some SCVs, because one of the ways he might find even more efficiency to maybe make up for this is if he could possibly... possibly try and, well... try and just have like a super effective trade, and maybe an army that just overwhelms and counterattacks and Serral can never clean up. But I just don't know if you, like I say, you got to give up SCVs to get there. That doesn't feel good when you don't have a massive bank. I mean, at some point soon he's not going to have anywhere to put SCVs, so then you may as well give them up and build up more army and just go with the one massive force, I suppose. I was just kind of thinking through my head whether it's really going to be worthwhile to approach it like that, as we do see Vipers consuming up some energy off of that Nidus network. A few Banes, Roaches, Lings, Hydras running up this right-hand side. Goes to the bio unit or two and turning around for a couple moments. Ravage getting busted down. Our Hydras and Roaches around the bottom side. Drop a couple of Blinding Clouds down. Our units continue to get sniped away at. We are going to be seeing the army of Oliveira pushing forward. Hatchery goes down. All the Broodlings get dropped. Those few Ghosts just going to go straight onto that Spore Crawler, clearing that out as well. On the left-hand side, our tank firing up a Storm, picking away at those drones. Ling's also getting blasted. Ling's come over, not doing too much else. A couple more shots going off from the siege tanks, and it's working their way through that left side army. Man, Ling, Bane, Hydra all coming up on the side of Serral, staying maxed out throughout. These two just continue through their late game trade. Couple of tank shots continuing through. Another hatchery top right does go back down. Again, Serral knows he wants to try and keep that base away from Oliveira and mine from himself if possible. A nuke lining up. Ghost looks as though it will get the nuke off unless units start turning around very soon to go toward it. Viper's now flying overhead. Okay, kills a couple of lava, some creep spread, nothing too major. Obviously, Oliveira getting access to that top right base is a big talking point. We've been mentioning the ability to kind of be effective and efficient throughout. But you drop a fungal growth there. The Infestor goes down. In fact, the fungal was meant to hit Ghost. It only hit a couple of empty medevacs. Serral's bank is not that much bigger than Oliveira's. I'd love to see resources lost right here. This guy a bit of an idea as to where we're at in terms of how much has been lost. Think about, what that extra base might be providing right now for Serral. You might see it at some point soon. I'll keep my eyes on if they unselect. We do have our 25 Banelings producing. Ling's Bane's gonna go rushing up this right-hand side, gonna go jump on top of the missile turret, take that out. Now massing us surrounding this planetary fortress, and well, Ghost coming over. Unit's just going to jump into the Nidus, though, getting out of there. A lot of SCVs starting to die off in the top right-hand corner as well, so picking away a lot of those 20 dead workers. And picks up a kill. Rest of the bio continuing around. Plus 2 vehicle plating starting up as well. Our Marines standing next to this hatchery. Lings run in, doing a good job of picking off a few of those, and the medevac begins to retreat away up the left-hand side. I was going to say, it looks like we're about to launch into this attack as well. We are going to abduct the Liberator. Banes really need to find economy here. And Serral doesn't like the fight, so he backs away, but that's, again, efficiency going in the favor of Oliveira. 13,000 resources different. It's all in minerals as well, so this is absolutely a mineral-focused game. I mean, 13k minerals is about, what, 16k minerals on the base? So Oliveira being a base behind would kind of be fine. The problem is, when he's a base behind, it's because Serral's also taken that base. Oliveira is not just a base behind, but then he's 2 base behind because Serral's mined that base that he hasn't got either as well. So right now, Serral's still okay, providing the map mines out, and he continues like this, and Serral eventually has a cleanup on the army, but it's close. It is close. Oliveira is staying in it. 21 minutes of TVZ so far here on Dragon Skills. A little bit by. We're going to jump onto the upper right-hand hatchery. Working our way through that straight away and just going to pick that off. Like I say, it's important that Oliveira does not let Serral mine too much more from these bases. Serral also thinks it's important to not let Oliveira mine from these bases, and that's why these fights keep happening. That's why Serral commits through. Blinding Cloud was beautiful as well. Took two of those tanks completely out of the fight. And now a lot of SCVs actually end up going down, and the base is pushed back. I would say this was a great fight from Serral. And Oliveira has immediately already spent his minerals, and he doesn't have a maxed out army yet, so he's going to have to get back on this base. Only 43 SCVs left for him. His income at any point in time is not, as large as it once was. He's going to drop a scan, clean out that Zergling. Drop the command center on that left-hand side, and Serral again ready to go, rushing up the left side pathway of the map right now. Definitely seems to be where his focus is. I mean, to be fair, he's already got the top right base as a hatchery, so he doesn't need to focus over there. Even if he's not necessarily mining from it, it's not the Terran's right now, and that's the most important thing. If it's not the Terran's base, you don't have to worry too much about it. It's about denying what the Terran currently owns. It's got to be the main focus as we see Lings running through. Blinding Cloud goes down. A few Banes are going to slip in. Libra as well be sieging up. Hydra's going through and honestly doing a very good job of this. Tank going down as well. Oliveira's supply is plummeting, guys, and he doesn't have the income anymore to stay in this. The worker count is gone. The bases to mine from are gone. He doesn't have what he needs to hang on in, and Serral has slowly but surely worked his way through. And yeah, the last couple of fights, the last few minutes from Serral have just been that much more convincing than what they had been up until this point. So it's been a major turning point across the course of this game. And it does look as though Serral is going to have game one in his favor. Fun effort, though. It was not easy. Get a little Neural Parasite, EMP. Hits a lot of the Ghost, takes away a lot of their sniper energy, so now even more opportunity for Serral to see success. Although this has all been with kind of lower tech army. Obviously, we've had Vipers and so on, but like, it's never been like, we've got a Lurker Den that just finished up now. We've never really had Lurkers or anything. It's just been these lower tech units throwing themselves at the Terran force repeatedly. Which again is, sometimes a very good way to kind of have everything go wrong and to lose out. But Serral's had it controlled. He's had it, he's known what he's been doing every step of the way, I would say. And that's obviously a pretty big factor. As the Seismic explains, the couple more Infestors. And just extra things that are only going to help. The Blue Flame Hellions harassing here, get a few drones. Serral will not really feel the pain of that. 4 drones right now is not a major deal. In fact, he could maybe even do with a couple less drones. You want to stay saturated, but we're at the point where some of these bases really are mining out. So drones are more likely looking to transfer to new bases, but there's not new bases to be had. So yeah, losing a couple might not be so bad for Serral. He did rebuild a couple, so actually in this case he wanted them, but sometime soon Serral's not going to need all the workers that he currently has as well. It's also kind of fascinating is you've never seen that kind of switch. Like I say, the army itself, it's always been, okay, there's been some spellcasters. There was 2 ultras. Generally, you would expect something else, like maybe even a Broodlord switch at one point where you feel like you have the edge. I mean, I guess right now a Broodlord switch would be completely deadly, but Serral is also a little bit low on the gas count. As he runs on in here, it's super important that he sees success because his own resource bank is not that high comparatively to what it can be and what it has been. 60 new Lings building up. He pushes the base away again. Oliveira will type GG, and Serral will get the victory. What a game between these two. And Serral gets the W, puts him top left-hand corner. Oliveira. In the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg winning that map. It is Serral. Thanks for joining us, guys. World Team League action here today on WardiTV. If you want to join the stream, do not forget you can support the channel by subscribing, following, etc. Always goes a long way, always appreciated. Hatchery goes down. Barracks sets up. Refinery on the way. Blood drones coming out here as we just get ourselves established, and just seeing our barracks continue to come around as well as our refinery coming up. Nothing wild off the start then. Hatchery first, barracks at home. World Team League. Getting the sponsors to keep on up for another season. Awesome to see them. Thank you so much. Not just keep on going. Doubled the prize pool. And on top of doubling the prize pool, added the Masters Coliseum and the Kung Fu Cup weeklies for $1,500 a week. I'll be back on Wednesday for the Kung Fu Cup weekly. Bonkers. How much StarCraft there is here in the here in 2023. It's actually a little bit wild just how much there is. I'm very impressed. Seeing our Ripper heading down to the bottom right hand side, just going to be scouting around with our first unit of the game. No surprises there. Things go nibbling. Reaper turns around. Bit of back and forth. Grenade will drop to just bounce. Obviously, do what we can here with this initial Reaper. What if Oliveira, having played a much more macro-oriented game 1, plays a bit more of an aggressive game 2, right? Maybe 8 racks, 3 base pressure, maybe even 2 base pressure for a long time. Well, there's a super fast there, so he sees to scrap that one. But yeah, third, 3 command centers in general, I think, can still be used very aggressively and to really push a lot. And Oliveira didn't do that much at all last time around. Grenade drops in, just see our link speed still about halfway done. Starport's still producing. The command center also producing as well. Okay, now our Starport about to finish up. Helling is still coming in. It's going to have our queens producing out also. And our link speed about to finish. Yo, Han Bao Bao 89, thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime. Appreciate the support. Thank you for supporting the channel today as Harry Hellion gets active. A couple lings will be taken down. Obviously last time Serral did open roaches as well, but didn't really, he committed to missile upgrades, but then he didn't really do much with the roaches. He really was, I think, prepping to deal with the aggression of Oliveira, and Oliveira turned away from that aggression. And maybe that's part of why we will not see Oliveira being aggressive this time. Maybe he wanted to be more aggro last time, but was turned off by the roaches. It's absolutely a possibility. Marine just nabbing through that Overlord, so some good damage dealt there. Stimpack coming up. Banshee still coming through the Marine as well, also being brought in. Two Hellions and a Reaper just up into the center. Evo Chambers coming up as well. Zergling's also producing. And it goes down. Queen's going to get bopped. Banshee and Stim and everything's still kind of popping up over there. We see the extra barracks engineering bays all producing from Oliveira as well. 1-1 melee upgrades producing from Serral. A couple of those refineries coming up on the natural. We do have our engineering base already finished. Onto the main base as well. So just getting that set up. Here comes the Hellion Reaper. Middle of the map. Not really able to do too much just yet. Just hanging around. That's still coming in. Melee upgrades still coming up. Obviously just very different without the Roach Roar into the last game. So like I say, maybe this will be Oliveira's opportunity to get the momentum going, to keep the damage being done, and to really, actually just do something. Because like I say, last time was very passive from him. I get it. Your opponent's Serral. He's playing roaches. It's going to be hard to burst him. This time around, it feels like the you know, game is a bit more in your hands as the Terran player. So we'll see what Oliveira can do, especially because it's, you know, later lair, you know, focus on the Evo chambers and melee upgrades. It means that the Balin speed's much later, so even more opportunity perhaps as Serral looking to make a last-ditch effort to save this hatchery. I don't think it will because the Queens are being kept busy by the Hellions, and the Spore Crawler obviously can't reach to the other side. No creep spread there, so that is a cancel on the 4th base. Good first win from Oliveira. That's going to pop him up into a little bit of a better position. Nicely done. All the upgrades, Balin speed. Continuing up at the moment here. Hatcheries continuing in also as a couple of medevacs of Oliveira are going to go boosting out into the center. 1-1 upgrades. Will be lacking for the Terran play. I mean, they're going to be there just a little bit later, so Serral can jump on this army immediately. Might be able to have a good time. Loses a creep tumor at the front. The Lings look to wrap around right now again against 0-0. These Lings can do decently for sure. Queens nearly intercepted the medevacs. They did a little turnaround for a moment. They wouldn't have got a kill, but could have maybe got a couple of shots off. Would not have been a bad thing. The Marines come rushing over to the right-hand side. Medevacs loading up, backing away as well. Dropping down, changing into the main, and Marines dropping through. Overseer taking some damage that is going to get chased and hunted down. Our Lings coming in, getting a little bit of a wraparound to clean up as well. Medevacs go boosting down to the south. And Lings again just wrapping in. Marines just going to load back up into Medevacs. Escaping out of there. We still have Lings, Banes, Queens. 2-2 melee upgrades all being produced at the moment. There's a lot more Lings and Serral running around that bottom left-hand corner, so they are really thinking about what they can do and where they can go as well. I mean, Planetary Fortress coming up from Oliveira. We get that left side base truly established here, and Serral just happy to go in a Hive. Got his 2-2, still playing pretty Lingbane heavy, and obviously from there, Hive Tech opens the door to whatever is next. In this case, I'd probably guess we just go Ultra Cavern, right? Lingbane into Ultras makes a lot of sense. Serral actually getting a nice little wrap around there on a couple units. The Queen started to approach to kind of hit the medevacs as well. I was like, uh-oh, are we in trouble? Are we going to lose stuff here, Oliveira? But obviously, Queen's not getting close enough, quick enough. And so the medevacs can make a pretty simple getaway at the end of the day. Queens and tanks come over this right side. The Lings wanted to run into that. I mean, Serral is going to have to, you know, pincer into this. He does have an army set up to the left as well, so he's very aware of what needs to happen in these next few moments, it seems. Already counterattacking with a lot of Lings. The depot's raised to stop the Lings getting into the natural. Necessary move. Some of these Lings probably turn onto those Marines, I guess, as more show up. It's not as necessary, but at first I was like, okay, maybe we could have killed some of those. This is Oliveira bringing a good portion of his main army back, which is obviously... yeah, it is obviously a bit of a shame, because now you lose that kind of threat that was on the map. I mean, he still maintains it. It is a shorter map, so again, back across isn't too difficult. He dives right back in with these Zerglings, grabbing the Marines already. And now Serral is likely looking for a chance to, as he busts down 11 SCVs, looking for a chance to kind of actually get that main force, as he's doing a lot over here. And this Baneling Connect, not quite. A couple Marines only, it hits. Well, we're going to supply block Oliveira too. Oliveira is pushing up. Serral might just want to give up this base. He's counterattacking with even more Lings, realizing his opponent doesn't have a good defense going on the other side of the map. Actually kill off this orbital. That's a shame as well. And, well, these Marines continue to take hits. I mean, Serral's extension of this attack is just going very well. Can he go any further? Probably not. I mean, it's a walled-off natural expansion. You get a tank up there. These few Marines are kind of on their own, but Serral decides to respect them and back it up. Didn't want to chase just in case they dragged into tank fire. He actually does break through over here, by the way, so he's going to get in. The siege tank will go down after only a single shot, and oh man, Oliveira, it's all falling apart. Serral is all over you right now. 9 SCVs. killed off, 12 SCVs killed off, just seeing Serral absolutely dominating. He just needs to clean up this main army now, and I genuinely believe he has what he needs to do it. As it might not happen in all one kind of single swing of the hammer, but if it doesn't happen straight away, I imagine it would happen on follow-up units. The Lings, I was thinking from Serral could also maybe come back from the other side at this point. Have the Vipers, by the way, so just going to Blinding Cloud. In the end, he didn't need Ultras or anything, just get some Vipers up off the Hive, and GG's. Oliveira gets kind of stomped in game 2. Serral just, I mean, there was a moment where Oliveira looked threatening, and Serral just said, counter